Today they announced the field of 64 for the college baseball NCAA tournament. Road to Omaha. Get yourself to Omaha, Nebraska in the College World Series. It's a goal. It is a historic thing. It is very, very important. We all fall in love with the NCAA basketball tournament in March Madness. This college baseball tournament actually has more potential for small schools, for non-Power 4 schools to make noise, to upset, to reach Omaha, and to even host regionals. Is a much different environment. These games are all played on campus. I know we've come with college football opening games on campus, NCAA tournaments all at neutral sites. College baseball, the first two weekends of the tournament are all in college regional locations, and then the neutral site of Omaha, Nebraska for the College World Series itself. That is the goal. That is the dream. The road to Omaha is like the Final Four. It's like playing in the national championship game in college football. That's the site you want to get there. There are 16 regional sites for those of you who are not familiar with college baseball, 4 teams per regional site, so 64 from there. It is a 2-loss elimination tournament. The winner of each regional will then move on to the super regionals, and the super regionals are a best of 3. The winner of that super regional goes to Omaha. And very similar to like an NCAA tournament basketball bracket where you have them paired up, you can sort of see how they're going to filter through. There are regionals that are paired. So if you win this region, you already know the region winner or region teams that you would play in the super regional. They're kind of already paired out, so you kind of have an idea how to match up and where your potential situations come from, how you want to prepare, etc. Sometimes there are a total of 7 games in a regional that just because of the way the wins and losses, the loser brackets kind of go, things can play out. These games can get very cumbersome, and you could have 7 total games in a regional between 4 different teams at some point participating and making it through. So that's a lot of baseball to be played in usually a 4-day perspective. Usually the game 7's on a Monday. You have 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, and then 2 Sunday if needed. And then that game, 7 on that Monday if there's still a bunch of teams with 1 loss, but no one has actually completely pushed it over the edge. You got to manage a bullpen. You have to manage the innings. Sometimes you have double headers and, you win the first game, stay alive, keep playing. It's a very exhausting event of a weekend. And that's where the chaos comes into play. You're going to see maybe the number 1 starter, which in college baseball usually is the Friday night starter is your number 1. Depending on if you're the top seed in the region, you might not pitch that guy on Friday. You might save him till that matchup, hopefully in a winner's bracket on Saturday, to get yourself into that championship, final unscathed. So it's strategic. It's how to move guys around. Who's ready? Who do you trust? You might see guys. It's not like the MLB where you have to face 3 batter minimum, all et cetera. Hey, you can bring a guy in for a batter. There are a lot of delays. There are a lot of pitching changes. Things play out. Metal bats can lead to a lot of runs. And some of these ballparks, they're all built the teams are built for these schools. So if you're a host, you already know your team is built to play in that ballpark. You have the advantage from that perspective. You're home. You're in your own bed, your own locker room. You need to take advantage of that comfort. You're going to have the majority of the fans behind you as well. But it's never that easy. You've got to be ready to play. You can't come in looking somebody over. You can't come in thinking, well, they're Northeastern. What do they know? They can't compete with me. They don't have a baseball brand, in my opinion. I'm not going to be able to compete with them. We already have the talent. We have all this big-time recruits. We got all the NIL money, et cetera, et cetera. It's baseball. It is a game. Things happen. Pitching, defense, hitting. Can you do the simple things? Can you get the ground balls? Can you throw the ball to first base? Can you throw strikes? These are the biggest parts of the game that I think we always overlook. But in college baseball, it causes chaos and it causes excitement because the simple things come undone. And we got to remember, these aren't major league players. These are still college athletes. These are still 18 to 22-year-olds who are out there in energy, the excitement, playing for a national championship, have the opportunity to go and do some damage on a national level. People show up and they get ready. Obviously, there's going to be some skill set. You're going to see some kids out there throwing, some pretty heavy heat. I heard Kyle Peterson talk earlier today, who is one of the best broadcasters for college baseball and works for ESPN, SEC Network. There were 11 guys in the SEC tournament alone who threw 100 miles an hour plus. 11 pitchers in the SEC tournament alone. He said when he was playing back in the mid-'80s or early '80s, there was only 2 guys nationally who could touch 100 when he was playing his entire college career. LSU had back-to-back pitchers throw 100-plus during the SEC tournament. There is some gas being thrown. There are some hitters out there. And with that gas and with some better pitching, you're not going to see as many home runs. College baseball usually thrives on home runs, and obviously the temperature getting warmer, it becomes part of that, and that's always a big deal. But you're going to see some interesting things where can guys just get doubles? Can the guys get singles? Can they earn walks? Can they steal bases? Can we manufacture runs? Are we going to see some suicide squeezes? You can't always rely on a 3-run home run, whether it's MLB, whether it's AAA, whether it's college baseball. The 3-run home run is not as prevalent as y'all think it is. And if you play to it, eventually it's going to catch up with you. I'm going to go into the top 16 teams and the 16 seeds and kind of look what regional they're paired with in a second. But it's a game where you're going to have to find ways to win. You just got to gut it out. It doesn't matter if you run rule someone by 10 runs or if you win 2-1 or 1-0 in 16 innings. You just have to win and keep your dream alive for the next weekend. Get to the next game, get to the next day, stay alive. Luckily, if you make it to the Super, get to the Super Regional and make yourself to Omaha. Getting to Omaha is an achievement enough. And then from there, the cream really does rise to the top because you do have some elite talent out there that usually make it. In the past 5 years, for the last 5 years, 5 of the top 8 national seeds have reached Omaha. So it's a good bet, but it's not guaranteed. The last 2 was 5. In the 2022, if my math is right, that was only 2 of the 8 made it. And then the previous 2 years after that, so 21 and I think 19 to 20 that was in the tournament, they both made it. So you're in a good spot as a top 8 seed, but nothing's guaranteed. You have got to show up and be ready to play in your home ballpark. And then also not just win your regional, make sure you take care of the super regional too.